Welcome to the SmartAging podcast. This is part of the SmartAging project funded by the Interreg Baltic Sea Region. I'm your host, Pase Rantanen from IKIGAIA Finland, and in this episode we will talk about startups in the project and what it means to pilot health tech solution in real-life environments. I'm joined today by Peter Green from Rehaboo and Antti Pellinen from Hoivita. We discuss startup life, lessons learned, the value of projects like these, and testing and developing the solutions in practice. Both of my guests bring a long experience from building companies since the 1990s, so the conversation also gives a broader view on how the sector has evolved. Let's dig deeper. Let's start with really simple questions. Peter, was that right?
That's right.
Tell me something about your company and yourself.
Yeah. In Finland it's Peter and elsewhere Pedro in Spanish-speaking areas. So my name is Peter Green, a serial entrepreneur and all-around startup guy. Always laughed that I never had a real job because my first job was to work at Interreg Design, which was one of the world's first new media agencies back in the end of 90s. And that was crazy.
Yeah, those were the days.
Those were the days.
Indeed. What about Rehaboo, the current?
Yeah, Rehaboo is my current startup. Actually, we repurchased the startup that I was one of the founders in 2016. So 9.5 years after founding it, we sold it in between. We repurchased it back and now have the IP and the name and the game. So Rehaboo is an exercise game studio making games for both physically and mentally somehow disabled or ill people. Main idea is to get your butt off the chair and move, and while moving play different kind of games also, for example for memory enhancement. So the main target audience, it is a digital health company, health games. The main target audiences are the elderly people living home alone, living at elderly care home, assisted living facilities, and the original target audience was and still is children's hospitals and especially kids with problems with lower limbs.
And then Antti, you're here with a different company.
Well, different or same, depends very much who are you talking with. Antti Pellinen, and nice to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Pasi. I'm an investor and co-founder in Hoivita, and the role is of course questionary. Whether you're an investor or co-founder, it depends very much how you get into the company. Maybe first as an investor, and then you start doing the operative work, and suddenly you find yourself being a co-founder, which is not a bad place at all.
And then you find yourself in an assisted living care facility doing the everyday job.
Well, it's all about the installation, it's all about listening to the customer and care homes, assisted living and even home care services. Hoivita is providing sensor-based services for understanding what is happening with the customers, with the end customers. And we basically measure the environment itself and make analysis based on that. So in short, we'll put in a sensor, it measures stuff, and we'll know whether everything is okay or not. No cameras, no videos, easy to install. We don't have to do it ourselves, actually, our customers do it for us.
And it makes people's lives safer, easier? Safer,
easier, nicer. For companies, saves a lot of resources, money, and people as themselves. So it's basically making getting older safer, nicer, and better.
Making the world a better place.
Simply.
Yeah, and as we always say, Rehaboo and Hoivita are like cousin companies because Antti is involved in both. And also with Rehaboo, I think we share a lot of the similarities with Hoivita, apart from we are using cameras for the interaction and gaming. So Rehaboo is like your Nintendo Wii, but with any device that has camera and screen, so mobile phone, tablet, PC, or the gaming totem like what we have here at Toivokoti.
Yeah. But things really that when people want to use the service, the Rehaboo game, they are using the cameras, but then again the Hoivita sensors are measuring all the time.
All the time,
without
yes.
cameras. So cameras whenever chosen to and not.
Exactly.
And actually I would say that we are cousin companies in more ways than Hoivita, because we are addressing the same customers and same people and trying to make the world
Exactly.
better in the same way. I like that.
And that's the way to do it. And it's like looking at where the digital health is heading at the moment. It's slow, but it's remarkable. And like you said, we are saving lives or helping lives.
The impact is really measurable as well.
Indeed.
So as part of the project, we are able to do this piloting in real life scenarios. What do you think about this kind of activities? Is it good? Is it useless? Is it amazing? And what could it be in the best case scenario for the companies? Maybe Antti?
No, not really. It's kind of a drag. No, frankly. Okay, piloting is the way to understand the customer requirements and how the customers are using the service. How we could develop our service. How can we really address to the customer needs and requirements in a new way? So when we have a commercial service, you have a commercial customers. You do it for obviously understanding the customers but then again pilots. No real commitments in a sense. But then again, the target is to have really the customers telling what they are thinking and how we can make the service such that they really adds value to the customers and in our case, the customers as well. The second is of course the sales. So you cannot say we are selling through pilots, but then again, you don't do pilots without selling.
It's easier to sell when people see what you're actually doing.
Exactly.
And they have the experience
Exactly.
as well. So I would say that that's a key way of getting to the customers. And then again, spreading the word around.
And if you look at the sort of a normal startup life cycle, it's from very early demos. It goes to MVP, which is kind of like the pilot phase, but normally without customers. Then you go all of a sudden into open beta when you start inviting customers. I think especially within digital health and elderly care, this piloting is great because it happens around the same time when the product is almost ready, but there's still time to improve it and get the feedback from the real people. And now if you look at the target audience, the elderly people, there's a couple of similarities with elderly and kids. And one is that they are really straight talkers.
Oh, indeed.
If you do a service for an elderly person that she or he doesn't like, they will tell it.
And that's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's good because normally you say, hey, I have this thing. Yeah, that's great. And then they think otherwise. But yeah.
It's forgotten. Yeah.
Exactly.
Looks like there's 3, let's say, over middle-aged startup guys sitting here and talking about startups. Is it really so that the health tech, the med tech is so difficult to get in that you really need to try for 20 or 30 years? Or what's the kind of current situation of this sector?
Well, I would say that based on my history of being external to GE, co-founder of Health Innovation Village at General Electric. So we built this in 2014. Aim was to get the cool kids to code for health, and we ended up having already at that time my age or older people. So really it is the middle-aged people working within the digital health. But then again, if you look at the doctors who are supposedly the ones that have done their research and now they want to give out some parts of their research, they tend to be middle-aged people as well. So I think that's kind of a match. However, I do see younger people, for example, from LUT joining the crowd. So here in Lappeenranta, the medtech or health tech studies are doing pretty good. So hopefully there is the next generation.
Well, actually, I couldn't disagree more.
Okay. Well, that's always
This is a
good.
start. So working with number of startup companies currently, and I see a number of really promising medtech or digital health startup companies here in Lappeenranta, the region, that are really founded by students or just graduated young people, and I see a number of them.
Oh, that's great.
I really see a fantastic trend in this. So I think we are. I'm not saying this old timers. Forget it. We are not.
We are not. No, mentally at least not. But that's really great because the Health Aid Innovation Village was closed in early 2020s, and I think by that time we didn't see this happening too much.
But maybe it would be a new time for that.
Maybe.
It again.
Actually, I need to talk with the GE guys because
absolutely.
the approach was great, and it really had some global impact as well coming out of Finland.
And we need to check what Johnson & Johnson is doing at the moment. They
Yeah.
are similar as well.
They have. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting. Let's talk about money.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a great invention. Everybody basically has some. But silver economy, getting older equals making money, at least in countries where the population is getting old and really old. Do we agree or disagree? And should we put more efforts on actually that?
Completely agree, and I think we should put a lot of more effort because we are looking at the next. Can't remember all the figures now, but I think the next 20 years is still the population is aging heavily before it starts going down.
There's futuristic saying that according to stats, the first human being turning 200 years has already been born.
Yeah.
Is that so? Probably not. But the fact is that people are getting older and there's a lot of healthcare and work to be done on the kind of later years.
Yeah. It depends very much on the financing how the financing of elderly care can be managed and can be guaranteed, so to say. We have approached the problem in very cost-efficient structures, which is, well, I don't know whether it's smart or not, but trying to get our part also on the table for making the elderly life better for ourselves as well in the future, and it's a tricky equation, and we need to somehow get it working. Less people paying, more people using the services. That's a tricky challenge for us, and I would say it's most societies in the world, not only the Western societies.
And then I think there's the public sector elderly care is really broken globally, so not enough bed places, and now if you look at the word bed place, that means like pretty much the ending of the life type of storage, and more and more hospitals are taking that part, and I think the quality life as an elderly person needs to be at own home as long as possible with a lot of assisted technology, but once the time is to go somewhere else, it should be home-like environment that feels safe, motivational, social, community-like. And the fact is that there are enough buildings or facilities for that, but there are not enough healthcare workers. Not enough people, and yet not enough robots to do that either. So.
The question is that what are the digital health tools, or what generally the tools for making this happening and enabling this. Of course, we have an interest with both Hoivita and Rehaboo to keep people at home, keep them in a good shape, and understanding what happens at home before it's too late to react. And then on the other hand, when the assisted living facilities are being used, then keeping people active there, keeping them operational. Rehaboo Active Game is perfect for that.
It's perfect, yeah. If I look at, for example, this Toivokoti Hope Home, when we installed the Rehaboo here, this was one of our first customers back in the day, and great to be back at Toivokoti, by the way. We really looked at the way the elderly people were living here and spending their time, and maybe we're not that much able to go out, at least not on their own, but they really enjoyed doing the regular stuff, and that's what we wanted to put into the game as well. But this is fairly small, as most of these in Europe are quite small facilities. But then if you look at Japan, for example, another elderly, heavy elderly population, the facilities might host thousands of people. Then if you look at the US, for example, the villages in Florida, I believe it's 65 to 75,000 people living in the same area, and they have 4 golf courses, almost 10 movie theaters, shops. Some people live in a big house, some people living in a flat or apartment. So the variety is really big, but the population is not even a small town, Florida, anymore.
Yeah.
So that's quite amazing.
And even I was trying to bait you, so it's not about money always, it's also about dignified living. And I think there might be more and more social entrepreneurs coming as well, whose main aim isn't actually making profits, it's actually making your own life better or making your parents' life better, etc. Do you see this phenomenon happening as well? Are people after more social benefits and making people happy than making actually money?
I think those two are rather combined. So if you are making people happy, they are prepared to pay for the service, which may potentially make you wealthy as well. So I don't say it's either or. I think it's both. And if you don't want to make people happy, if you don't want to make the impact, how can you make business?
True that, yeah. And for sort of a social entrepreneurs, I see that happening a lot because of the sort of communities and being socially together as a community. Well, mentioned that already, but I think that draws lines into non-tech or non-business students, for example, here at Lappeenranta, but maybe more for the social students that chip in with then the business people and the tech people. And I think also with the tech people, the money is not the number one driving force. It's making stuff happen.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a good time for the combination, and especially now, learning that here in Lappeenranta the students are really heavily working on the healthcare and assisted living, elderly care stuff. I think that's a good promise because, like Pasi, you mentioned, a lot of the earlier phase digital health companies came because somebody had a real problem and it was a solution. I started Rehaboo because I had my shoulder surgery. I didn't do my rehab. My physical therapist was super pissed off at me, and then one day I said, well, I'm building this game, and he was like, hell yeah, this is great, let's start using that. And all of a sudden my motivation got up. So maybe that's also like in a way history, looking at your own or your parents' problems, and now it's more about, hey, let's make something great.
So basically you were your first customer.
I was.
And I've been actually working with another health tech company with a similar story. The guy broke his body really badly, couldn't get a decent rehab, so he actually created himself a way to rehab, and that's how it happened.
Okay.
Kind of usual story, I guess.
Yeah, and then the parents are I've heard a lot about that. For example, diabetes, that the parents had a very bad diabetes, and we started creating how you don't have to inject every day, how you can do the measures automatically, these kind of things. But maybe that's the sort of the first phase of digital health startups, 2015 to 2025, and now we are living maybe the next phase where it's more about the purpose in general, it's more about the impact, it's more about the big need to take, especially in the elderly care.
Yeah, well, I think throughout the industries, I think it's moving that way, especially in the startup sector.
let's go to the final question of this quite interesting conversation. We could keep going on for hours, but probably not most of the people want to listen to this for 3 days. That's a different story. But I was thinking about these projects. Like now we are working under Interreg Baltic Sea Region funding, and there are similar projects all over Europe. I don't even know how many hundreds. But companies usually say it's kind of really difficult to get in or really difficult to find them, etc. And what do you think about this? Should companies put a bit more effort of looking and reading and searching, or is it the other way around? Should the projects actually be more allowed? Because there are good things happening anyway.
Yeah, that's a good question, really. But the match made in heaven is something that the project targets meet the company's development targets, and that is the basic question. So the companies, startup companies that are working with limited resources, they want to focus on something that they want to do, that they aim to do. And the challenge comes when the project targets are not fully aligned. So it's a question of whether the company should join the project or not. That is a good question, actually. It's not fully about the money. Yeah. Financial resources are important, certainly. It's not fully about the customers. Customers are important. It's the whole package, basically, and there should be a kind of a match, and then it's easy. Then it's easy to make the decision to join the project.
So here for Peter, this is a new business idea for you.
Great.
Are we going to have it tomorrow or next week, this kind of dating app for companies and projects to match needs?
It's going to be next week, because now I'm here in Lappeenranta. I need to enjoy the beautiful city. But I'd say there must be already something existing. And I think this is something that whether it's the European Mistral or ChatGPT or Cloud, I think you can find those with good prompts. But of course, as we know, AI hallucinates quite a bit. So until you get into the clear call to action, press here, get the link, apply. So I think we need to have a matchmaking app for this. And maybe
existing consortiums that have a discussion with them and then understanding more of the current participants and how to get cooperate with those.
But also maybe if you look at, for example, the public tendering, there is a website that has it all, and then the startups go there and try to apply and sort of put their tender out and compete for the thing. But there's no such a thing for the EU projects. And then especially if you go for the funding projects, they are like Horizon 2020, that means that it's a couple of months of working with application or even more. And there's not like sort of, it doesn't have to be right away, it doesn't have to be like super fast, but if there would be something to start the dialogue, would this be a match? And I know at least city of Helsinki does this a lot, but it's only one city in Finland, and